Hi guys, welcome to Throwback Thursday. I wanted to talk about a topic that was quite different from what I'll be talking about today earlier, and that was the idea of one of my biggest regrets ever since. And that aside, I'm thinking of talking about a particular topic which is essential at this point in time. We just in 200 subscribers, and I really appreciate every single one that has joined us to reach those numbers. We are going for greater heights. We are going for 1,000 subscribers next. So on that note, I will be talking about how to build a team when you are starting out today. Like, I want to going back, how do I go ahead and build a team? Like, what are the essential things I look for in building a team? You see, in recent time I learned about the idea that leadership is when people are so curious to follow you, even if they don't know why. You understand? So, and that's what exactly has worked for me over the years, you know, even to the latest of our staff, of our associates. Some of them are kind of interested in the fact that they just see this guy that was jovial, that was free, that was what, and they want to be part of whatever he's doing. So essentially, let me track back for you so that I can get it. So I think the first person on my team was supposed to be my brother, and then but we had clash of interest at that time, and then it couldn't be. So Josh came on board as just a curious fellow political science student in a lower level. I was 300 level, I think 200 level, so when I was 300 level. So that's how it started, and then the relationship, whatever. When I say relationship comes before money, exactly. The relationship has to come before money. So for the relationship, and then you know about the fact I was doing into web, then the brought in learning LinkedIn, and then ever since then. So then I think Dan Smith is a friend of Josh, and then he come on board, and then so we brought in Timmy Atkins also or somebody else, and what happened across those times was just people bringing people in. A friend of yours is bringing a friend of yours in. But for you as a leader, what I learned over the years, a lot of people come on board, from Emmanuel to then later we started doing full stack and we are having people like Wisdom and Co and Favor and coming on board. So what I noticed over this year, like all of these people that have come on board, is that essentially as a leader, you have to have a clear sense of purpose. I think that's the beginning. You know, even if that purpose don't end up becoming purposeful, you should have something like you really want to do, like something up in your front, something big you want to do, whatever the case will look like. You know, whether you want all the dirt in the ocean to be clean, whether you want any case, whether you just want to make money, you just want to be rich, you just want to get out of school, you just want to get something doing, anything. Like, you got to first fundamentally be less delusional. Like, you have to hit the threshold, and that's the threshold I'm trying to set for you here. That is, you are clear on the exact thing you really want to pursue. That doesn't mean you are clear on the end result, but at least you know your first and your second and your third and your fifth move. At least, like you are kind of dancing around that. You may not know exactly how everything will work out, but you really want to do something. So I think for me, what I wanted to do is to just make money. You know, I hate the idea that we are lagging as a student and all these things, and then the school system does not seem to promise anything solid. So I was up to doing that. So a lot of Josh also want to financials from home and all this. Wasn't so he also want to break out. So I'm a breakout advocate. Do you get it? I just want to break out of this. What has been, you know, even then I do complain about the idea of complacency over and over that. That I've seen business that comes to crumble. I've seen that, and if you look at my background, my dad was the kind of person that in his early ages, like in his youthful age, was kind of working with money and this. But now I can see what has come of him and all these things. So I'm this wanting to break out and be somebody different. So because I am this breakout, lookout, every other person that I also want to break out tends to aggravate towards my time. Like, you know, then we have an accumulation of people that want to break out. by default. Look at John Wish. Wanted to break out from the routine of family background and all this. Everybody must be academia and all this. Somewhere inside of him want to break out. He's now our CTO in one of our company, our future editor, and then you just want to break out what has been done. Even the wisdom that we later hired when we started making some money, he too wanted to break out from the society where he doesn't know any developer, where you answer to somewhere where they want to do something big. Do you get the point? So that's it. There's must be a challenge that you are looking up to take. So I think my own is to break out. Just be out of normal. You know, that's me. I don't know what yours will look like. May be this person I want to advocate for equality of rights, for whatever, for I just want to break out. Then when I was saying the relationship comes before the money, that was about the relationship. Like there has to be something similar that forms the relationship, that forms the bond, that forms it. Then note the second part is that put money into the same. When I say relationship comes before money, that is we know each other, there's a transaction we want to do, but money have to come into the scene. That shows how important the money is. So I think one of the things that helped our team so far, if you notice, almost all of our first 10, 20 staffs were in sales. All of us are just in sales and in sales. There's no other department than sales. Every other thing will be handled out. And that's because we put money into the thing. We feel an exact metric that can ensure that once you join the company, if you do things right and do the right thing, in no time, you start making something for yourself. The reason why that is very important, you see, a lot of books will tell you about, don't focus, people will join you for your purpose. That is good on the paper. But when it comes to real life, people have challenges, people have things to do, people have tax to do, they have parents concerned, they have health concerned, they have food concerned, they have clothing concerned. There are thousands of things people want to spend money on. So if you understand that, you understand that you have to put money into the scene. How do people become financially independent? How do people become so that even when they are aligned and key into the relation, which is governed by the purpose, they will end up subscribing into it for a long time when there is money in the picture. And then the third layer is that when people start coming on board like that, create a structure. What do I mean? Create a structure. If for us it was discovering that there can be 2 teams and then there can be SL, like sales leaders on 2 teams, and then do this, do it, and then we started establishing something far beyond that. We started HL, I think they call it HL or something, SH, yeah, 6-8, and then we created the idea of a CMO that governs both the 2 teams and all this. So that was it. We created a structure that could allow people to bring other people on board, and then that could allow people to groom each other. Why is that essential? Why that is essential is that you don't want to just pack early beds and late beds together. You don't want to just be teaching late beds and early beds the same thing you are teaching the person that just come today. You understand? Beginners, starters. You don't want to just mix all of the. That's why you see something like children department, whatever, even in church or elders or something. They have to find a way to demarcate so that people that have been sold into the picture for so long. People that are just coming in and need a lot of time before they can get in. And then you know how to now structure your leadership system so that people can even go ahead and lead others, because the best leaders are people that lead leaders. You understand? So that we can explain what they call the law of exponential growth. I think that should be law 14 or 21. I don't know. Law of exponential growth. That we can have multiple. No, legacy should be 21. Maybe 20 or 19. You can have more that comes your way. People that are able to grow others, Even some people, some of the people that work alongside with me these days, I do not most time have direct touch with them. It's people that have grown, that end up growing there. So create a leadership structure that, and then know when somebody has to leave. This is very, very important. If somebody is outside this to the team, if somebody is toxic to the team, you have to know exactly when to leave, let them leave. I worked with the CDO for quite a while, like 11 or 12 months or so, or 16 months. Yeah, 16 months. And at the end of the day, I have to let him go. Why? His attitude, he's a great player on the team, like a great player on the team. He does his work so good, whatever. he does things right, obviously. But when it comes to doing the right things like leadership, whatever, he leads his team, sure. But we are not in sync, When I have a CDO that, that at that point in time, design was one of our major business, that couldn't come on site because we moved. And every other designer even is trying their best to get on site, you understand? And he couldn't come on site because he believed the new space is not yet convenient. So all those are very important metrics for you to pay attention to. That if all the team members are not saying it's not convenient, how do we get work done? And if everybody's at their home, we know the Nigeria, there's no light, there's no power supply, there's no data. Even when we try to run anything remote, it's false. A lot of people have applied for a job here that don't give them because remote working don't work with us. So because I know that, I was able to let him go. That's one of my hardest let go. And then any other person that have leave the team, even Timmy Atkins, that was quite a very close, whatever, wasn't feeling himself in the system, wanted to, and he doesn't see it's the right fit. And I said, okay, you want to pursue this political thing, go ahead and start following campaigns and all of that. So you have to know when to let people go. It's not a bad thing that people. You are a driver, exactly. You are a driver. So if you notice what cab driver does is that when you are moving on in lane, there's a destination you are going. But at the different junction, people will join the cab, and when they join the cab at different junction, they have to drop at different destination. Do you understand? So since you are not parking all of us from home, I want to drop us from somewhere. You know that people have to join at different junction, and then some people will have to go down at those stop points. So it's essentially when people will drop. There are a lot of people that have dropped from our team. Some that, in fact, the one I wanted to talk about earlier that I was saying, like, it's our CFO, so to say, CFO. We also together in that one room apartment I was talking about before. We do everything together, and it was before we started moving, and then we started having a revenue that can even afford the space. It was there and all this thing. But by the time we want to move, I think that's another junction. At that point in time, he dropped. You understand? He started to leave, and so you got to know exactly when not to force it, when to allow people to go, so that it will not be a forcing thing. It will be a free will discussion. It will be people that choose to be on board that will be on board. And then the third part is that you master the game of autonomy, like giving autonomy, discharging autonomy to people, like allowing them to grow, allowing them to make independent decision on issues, whatever the case may be. Like, give people freedom to say, okay, this is the issue X, Y, Z. How do you want to handle it? Do you want to let go of what you have been investing in, or you want to go? At the point, our first normal sense was about leaving the company, give him the freedom for him to think freely about it and all this. Although they have a commitment and he's forwarding it, and then we give him the freedom. And then when he said, no, you're no longer going, we keep him. So you have to allow that in your team so that you can have a robust and quite efficient team. Then there's the importance of continuous mentorship. That is essential for everything. If you want to build a team that will be all packed together, I think that's one thing I do often and often. In fact, I don't know whether my leaders are tired of my talks, but it's something I do often and often. Although I don't talk about the same thing, I try to cultivate the habit of you learning something, getting to realize where we are, where are we going, how to think about issues, how to attack what they do wrong last week, what we should do better this week, what the entire team is currently lacking, how for us to go about it, and all of that. That's what we do essentially. Like, active mentorship is essential. Talk people into knowledge. The point is that if you notice, I do say this when I'm out in a meeting. I say the people that rape, the people that kill, the people that do all of that, those crimes, they are not in the sky. They are Nigerians, they are they are Australians, they are whatever, any continent, they are Yoruba, they are Igbo, they are anything from any. And then you can't just presume and assume, because assumption is the lowest form of knowledge, that on your own team there's no such people. The only thing you can limit the possibility of that by actively preaching your own gospel, the gospel of not doing all of that. Like, we don't rape here, we don't kidnap here, we don't do this, we don't fraud. At the point we're having issue with some of the people that want to join our team, and then they have some backlash or back record of 4 and like all of that, we send them off our team. We have any record that is that can implicate us, whatever for the whatever case. That's not what we do here. Don't bring your business in there. You understand? In fact, we make a definite decision that if you are smoking, you are whatever, any form of intoxication and all this thing, you can't be part of our team. Those are core principles that we are putting on board to ensure that we are clear. And it's important you talk people into having sense. People don't have sense by default, including yourself. You know, a lot of mentors out there, books and all this have talked into you. What I'm trying to do right in front of camera to you now is to talk sense into you. I'm not being rude. But one of our project is that trying to show you the experience of somebody that have taken it to this level, and how essentially I think you should go about it. So that's talking sense into your people. You are building team, talk sense. But note that when I'm saying you should talk sense, doesn't mean you are all knowing. You understand? There's a need for dialogue, there's a need for active checking of knowledge and all of that. There's a need for collaborative solving problem. There's a need for, you understand? You don't just, for a leader, if you are a leader, truly a leader, I want to grow a team, you are not a boss, you don't just sit around anyhow. You're not just bossing around, you know. You need to be part of it. Although when you need to be giving instruction, there's a need for that. But you need to be part of every single part. I think you should be able to pretty much come up with a good team. If you have any other question about how I go about anything, you can drop in the comment below. And obviously we are taking this channel to 1K subscriber before the month end. So I want you to be part of that. If you have not subscribed to this channel, subscribe. And I would like you to share this content for anybody that you know that want to groom people and want to develop leaders. It's essential you do that for me because I really appreciate it. So till we meet next time for Weekend Monster, I remain Timmy, and this is Unscripted. Thank you very much. Cheers.